Have you ever wondered what it would be like to go behind the scenes on a ride at Alton Towers? Well, look no further than this video, because the other day I was very kindly invited by Alton Towers to go behind the scenes on one of their most amazing rides in the park, HEX, the Legend of the Towers. And not only did we find out a lot about the history of the ruins and also how many rocks there are in certain rooms, but like you'd expect, we managed to see loads of different show control screens and even the behind the scenes of how that vault works. And if you haven't seen it before, it is hella interesting. So be sure to watch till the end of this video if you want to see all of that. And be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. I do so much content much like this and alongside so much more too. So yes, subscribe. Thank you. But obviously this video is going to be a bit different to normal. It's not going to be a vlog purely because I'm not going to go around the entire HEX ruins and just be shouting, "Hi guys!" So I decided to just film loads of footage and I'm going to talk you all through it. Although when I turned up, I thought it'd be funny to start vlogging because I had half an hour and I wanted to try and get on 2 rides. Let's see how that went. But either way, I've just arrived with like 40 minutes left to go on park. And I feel like I'm going to try and run and do Toxicator and Nemesis, because why not? Oh, better get those legs working, eh? Oh, wait! I was going to do an entirely separate video on this, but the Sky Ride has reopened. Let's give it a shot. Coming through. Look at how nicely painted it all is. It feels like so long since I've last been in this room. I can't tell if we just broke it or not. Solid ride on the Sky Ride. That's one ride down. I'm going to try and get on Toxicator first. It says it has a 10-minute wait, so we'll tick that one off first, just in case. But here's the monster truck. Haven't seen this in person yet. Actually looks just as good as it did on the photos. Look at that. See, look, it's like crushing into it. I don't see why anyone has a problem with it. Let's go and have a ride. That's 2 rides on Toxicator, and now I'm going to try and get a ride on Nemesis Reborn. Probably not going to manage any more than that. I'm just the goat of speed running rides. It's so quiet, they're sending us down the fast track. They're sending us, they're sending me, I'm alone. I have missed this thing. There it goes. So epic. I've missed this ride a lot. Let me just not fall down the stairs. The theming, the absolutely amazing looking helicopter, the track, the rattle. I love it. So good to get a ride on this. And that's a ride on Nemesis Reborn as well. Somehow in less than half an hour, I've managed 2 rides on Toxicator. Bear in mind, it takes a little while for it to load and also is quite a long ride cycle. And then got a ride on Reborn, so I will take that. And now we're gonna actually head over for the purpose of this vlog. HEX, the Legend of the Towers, behind the scenes. We then met up about 45 minutes after park close at the VIP experience meeting point and then entered in through the doors. Of course, with HEX, there is so much history there with the whole of Alton Towers, I guess. So the amazing staff members that were touring us around did tell us so much about what that area actually was. Literally, as you are walking in and you're not even in that main hallway that the main queue line is in, if you look to your right, you can see this. Yes, you may remember this if you have watched my HEX opening day vlog from last year. I literally just pointed at it and said, "Big Bell." Well, turns out that's one of the main things that they've actually kept from the restoration that is real from the past, because a lot of these things are just replacements or pretty much identical replicas. That massive hallway with the queue line is an armory, if you didn't know. You can put some diamond armor on, full set. Nope, those memes are dead now. And there's loads of statues that appear to be along the walls with like the Earl of Shrewsbury, the first one, the second one, the 14th one. Apparently in modern day, they're actually on like the 30th now, which is quite funny. All the stained glass windows that are down those walls too, they have been refurbished over time. And of course, with the updated version opening last year, they have added that wall at the back to separate the pre-show and the queue line. They also told us at this point that the dust that is all around the queue line, some of it, of course, is real, but a lot of it is themed dust. Not real. Then you enter the first pre-show room, which, of course, is just a painting on the wall. But right at the back is an operator panel style thing that has a load of screens, and you can see it's got like show start in the different rooms and everything on it. If I'd have pressed one of those buttons on that screen, I could have become a HEX ride operator. How sad. But they can literally press a button and all the shows play. Or one plays,
or however many they press. They had a CCTV monitor, of course, but behind them is an older looking TV, which apparently used to be the CCTV monitor. There's a lot of old-timey stuff like that I'm going to talk about, so stay tuned. There's loads of like drawn map plans and everything. There's probably a couple Easter eggs in there, knowing towers. There's loads of theming here and there. You can see like a train. Choo choo. And even up on the scaffolding above the doors that you walk through to the cinema room, they're still painting the bloody thing. Obviously, that's theming as well. That's not real. You then walk through the doors to the cinema room, and it is just a cinema room. Pretty self-explanatory. We didn't go behind the scenes of the screen or anything. I'm actually going to transport myself into the screen right now. But they told us that there was no plan to actually update those video screens, so they were always going to keep them the same. And in the pre-show video, the tree that gets struck by lightning and sort of like goes up in flames can actually be found in the car park of the resort. But walking through then to what I think is the best area of the entire ride experience, other than the actual ride, of course, the Octagon. And obviously this is the bit where the main show happens and you've got the TV screens around. You can see the sort of wind blowing through the wind. I meant through the air. We'll just run with that. All like the curtains and the cloths coming up a little bit, and of course the witch at the top. Oh, and the generator that sparks. That's my favourite part of the entire ride. Not when it sparks, but when it's powering up again after it's done its sequence. But when you enter, there is apparently around 29 big rocks and 13 small rocks just placed amongst the fences, because you needed to know that. The witch on the top isn't real. What? It's all made of fiberglass, and apparently you can see the hand of it. It's quite a small hand, and that's because back in the day they did a competition for someone to win their hand to be casted and placed on the witch in HEX. Whoever won that probably doesn't even remember by now. You've got this lovely looking pillar in the center. We had this like nice handout that was made by Jake, absolute legend. Such a cool design on that handout, and yeah, you could see some lovely pillars, one of which was a lovely pillar in the center of that room. And going back to the witch that you can see, something very interesting you've probably never seen. On the boarded up windows in that octagon on the left hand side, you can actually see the imprint of where some UV paint was for some witches on those windows. I'm not an expert, but apparently it used to, in that pre-show, you wouldn't just see the witch up there as just a... It was just UV paint and it'd light up on those windows, and that was that effect. It's pretty cool seeing that still there, but you don't see it when you're on the ride because it's too dark. From this point though, you now enter the non-existent part of the ruins, because it's all now ride area and ride building, just by the knock of a hand. Ow. Oh yeah, that's better. I don't know why I thought it'd be a good idea to slam my hand that hard into the main wall, but oh well. Now from here, of course, this is where it gets interesting. Now, so far, it's just been a lot of show stuff, but now it's the proper ride stuff. Although I guess not, because the vault also does have a show. When you sit down and get locked into your restraints, of course, as the room spins around you, spoiler alert, there is a lot of lighting and smoke effects, sound effects, loads of like flashing, some projections and stuff, and that, of course, is part of the show. And they did actually play that for us whilst we were sat there with the restraints up and the gondola and drum weren't moving. It was a very odd scenario to just be sat there on HEX thinking, am I supposed to be moving? But that of course shows you that the ride show controls can actually be done when it's not moving. Some nice things to note is of course the vault looking amazing. It looks so atmospheric when you first walk in, and of course the lighting is only on one preset. They can't just sit there and change the lighting to be like, oh, rave mode. I was really hoping that they would say, oh yeah, occasionally when we have staff rides, we just turn the lighting and just do loads of random stuff with it. But no. And there's a little dial near the exit of the ride on the left-hand side. It is literally just gravity-based and it moves with the ride. And you know how I said a few rooms back that there is a CCTV monitor that's very old? The whole ride runs on Windows 98. Yeah, I couldn't take any photos or videos, but the PC it was running off, I'll try find one that's similar, looked like this. That's how old it looked. But obviously everything you see in the vault isn't really behind the scenes. The op cabin stuff, yes. The fact that it runs off an old PC, yeah. But this is where we go fully behind the scenes, because we walked through some staff only areas and managed to see a load of different like electric and servers and stuff like that, with yet another screen that can control loads of different shows. And then we walked through to what they call the drum, which is basically the outside of the vault. So yes, what you're seeing on your screen right now, inside that is where you sit on HEX. And of course, the gondola is separate. That tilts 15 degrees each way, so you're really not swinging that much. Whilst this huge drum that you're seeing does an entire full flip around a few times back and forth, which also brings me to another point of it being so old. Most rides of this type now, to supply electricity to the actual vault, because obviously you can't because it's spinning, would use like a copper ring so it can fully rotate. No, HEX has 3 wires that whilst the ride spins, they all get tangled up, and then the ride decides to spin the other way the same amount of times, so they get untangled. That is such a classic way of doing it, but I absolutely love it. But yeah, right at the end, nearer the exit side of the vault, you have that entire black ring around the drum, which runs on these kicker wheels. There's a set on this side and the other side, and this will obviously propel the drum itself over and over when it needs to. And it's quite high up off the ground. You don't really think about it when you go on the ride. You just think, oh, I'm sat here, I'm probably just on the ground now. No, you are quite high up off the ground. You can literally see it here. Like, it just looks so strange from the outside. And from this angle, you really get a look at how tall that building goes and how tall the drum actually is. Because yeah, the inside of the vault is all attached to that. But there was so much being talked about, and I had one question. Why was there a chair just sat in a dingy looking corner? You've got this entire catwalk area that we were on, and just round the corner is this singular chair. Supposedly it is purely for the engineers to sit there when they need to and just watch the ride go round. But the group I was with decided to say that it was haunted and anyone that sits in it would be cursed. So I sat in it. So if anything happens to me, what the hell? Then blame the chair, because it weren't me. But it is just crazy seeing that entire vault and that drum from the outside and sort of thinking about the fact that when you're inside, you don't even think about it at all. Because you wouldn't even think about the outside, nor the fact that it's all being propelled by a couple sets of wheels just running the end on a rail, which apparently does lead the vault to twist a little bit sometimes, which is a little bit funny. But yeah, it's just mad how much they actually do behind the scenes compared to what you experience on ride. Managed loads of different photo opportunities, of course, managed to film so much inside as you've seen. Walked out and once again looked at the lovely pillars right at the entrance, and then began walking out of the park, which is where I'm gonna now cut to give you my final thoughts. The towers of Alton behind. We've just come out of HEX, the Legend of the Towers, not riding it, although technically the show scene was on. So technically we did ride it. And yeah, look, they've given us these certificates behind the scenes. There you go. VIP experience. Dan ventured deep inside the legendary towers to discover the secrets behind the historic and haunting tale of HEX. 5.5 minutes. But no, that was good. I recommend that. A very insightful tour. The tour guides did an amazing job at telling us absolutely everything, to the point where I had no questions and I started asking questions about the chair. But we are now walking out of the theme park. Did you enjoy that, Carl?
I loved it. I thought it was a really good experience.
It was good.
Very informative. Like you said, tour guides are brilliant. Seeing it all with the lights up and seeing the detail that they've gone into, yeah, brilliant.
I'm glad we agree. Thank you very much for watching this very strange video compared to normal. Subscribe.